Welcome back to the PTSD Princess Podcast. I'm Jerica Rose, your host. I survived homelessness, sexual, and verbal abuse. I'm here to guide you through your healing, growth, and reclaiming your self-love. So let's dive in. Today I have Julie. I met her online. She's a network marketer and she's a homeschool mom. So you want to tell a little intro about background about yourself?
Yeah, and first, Jerica, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I've been listening to it for a little bit, so I'm honored to be a guest. So I live on a farm in Kansas with my husband and our two incredible kids. I've had an online health and wellness business for almost 9 years now, and I've been a homeschool mom for 8 years, and I've always been fairly active on social media. I was really big into scrapbooking before social media came along, and when it started, I found a way to document and share my experiences in a way that was more time efficient.
All right. So what do you do now?
Okay, so although I've had my health and wellness business for 9 years, I recently started to look for ways to reach the right audience. Before I was doing a lot of vendor fairs and in-person presentations and sharing my business with anyone who would listen. And I have no regrets because I've learned a lot from those experiences, and I've met some incredible people along the way. But I wanted to find a way to reach people all over the world without the travel expenses, but also attract the right people in a way that is non spammy. And I got involved in an online marketing mentorship program a few months ago, and it's completely revolutionized the way that I do things. And I talk very little about my products anymore, funny as it is, because as a strategy, it's really outdated, and people in the online space, they hear and see that stuff all the time. And what I've learned is how to provide value based content and provide value to the people, whether they buy from me or they don't. So I've learned in business that you have to give a lot more value than you expect to get back in order to be successful. And when you give value, it helps build those connections and those relationships with people to where they're more likely to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. And that's crazy because I had to learn that myself. Like I was doing outdated strategies. I was literally cold messaging, reaching out to my friends and family that I thought was going to buy. So it's like, I'm glad you mentioned that because network marketing, it's, it's easy, but it's not easy at the same time. And it's all about this, literally. 80% is like you really have to focus on your mindset to make these steps in this industry. So good point. Good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's another challenge that you faced and then that you really got through that you can remember?
Well, I've experienced various traumatic things like toxic relationships. I had a nasty car accident in college, and that took several months for me to recover from that. And there's some scary stuff that happens in your mind when you are bedridden and you're completely dependent on other people to do basic tasks when you're not used to it. Like at the time, I was full time working, full time college student, always on the go. And then next thing I know, I'm stuck in bed for almost 24 hours a day. So, that was really difficult to get through. Probably the most traumatic thing that I've gone through were my two miscarriages. And my first pregnancy ended in miscarriage around 5 weeks. So it was more of a chemical pregnancy, and really had little to no time to celebrate. I took that first test and it was positive, and I got it confirmed at the doctor. And my husband and I were ecstatic, and we told everybody, but maybe a week and a half later, I started having some abdominal pain and some spotting, and it started to get worse. And went to the emergency room, and our worst fears were confirmed. And there's no words to describe going from being so happy to having that rug pulled from underneath you like that. But we took the time and we worked through our grief. And a couple of months later, we learned that we were expecting again. And it was difficult to be excited at first because that fear was always there. But I thanked God for every day that my baby was still with me. And on my 26th birthday, God gave us a beautiful baby girl who's now 14 years old. She's smart, she's beautiful, and we love her so much. And a few years down the road, we decided we wanted to give our daughter a sibling. And we learned we were pregnant for a third time. And I learned we were, yeah, for the first several weeks, everything seemed to be going normally. And we went in for our 10-week checkup as a family. And our daughter was so excited to see her new baby brother or sister on the ultrasound screen. And we had that ultrasound and we heard those words, "I'm sorry, Julie, the baby doesn't have a heartbeat." And I fell to pieces. Like, how could this be happening again? And to add insult to injury, there was a lot of complications in the miscarriage process, which I'm not going to get into today, but it was really scary. So we had a lot to work through. We started attending a bereavement support group at a local church. I did a lot of journaling and connected with women online who had gone through the same type of loss. And I had no idea how common it was because it's rarely talked about. And what I've learned is taking a deep breath here.
Yeah.
What I've learned is that grief or trauma thereof, it never leaves you. And, it doesn't go away. You just learn to move forward with it and you become stronger because of it. But several months later, I became pregnant with my son. That same fear was there. But again, I just thanked God every day that my baby was still with me. And every checkup, we heard his heartbeat. And when I felt him move, it was very reassuring to me. So he's 9 years old now. He'll be 10 next month. And so, yeah, sometimes you just have to have faith that things are better on the other side.
Yeah. Amen to that. I even had to take a deep breath. Oh my gosh. Like I didn't want to shed a tear, but I felt it. I feel your pain. Like I can't even imagine losing kids, but like you are strong. Like you are strong. And I know it's a mind battle every single day. Yeah. Yeah. And you have two now, right? But 14.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do remember seeing them online. Oh my gosh, they are getting so big.
It happens so fast. Like, I don't know. It just seems like I brought these kids home from the hospital the other day. And in 4 more years, like, our daughter is going to be graduating high school. And yeah, that's another grieving process I'll probably have to go through. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. But I always want to remind people like going through stuff like that, you're on your own timeline, especially when it comes to healing. Like, and it gets so intense, but the more you hold on to it, the worse it gets. And so it's like, keep being vulnerable, girl, because vulnerable is the new sex.
Absolutely. I told you earlier, in a world where there's so much fakery, people are looking for authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And when I started network marketing, it was mainly because I wanted an extra income too. So I kind of translated my story into that too. You have a story too that you can tell and relate to a lot of women. That's powerful. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
is there like a top tip that you would give or you want to share with the audience after all of that you've been through?
My top tip is that you're not alone, even though you feel like you are. If you or anybody else has gone through this type of loss, there's people out there who understand. Talk to somebody, whether it be, a friend or somebody from your church or your spouse, somebody you can trust that, or is going to give you a shoulder to cry on and an ear to listen to you. But don't be afraid to reach out to someone. Don't keep it in, talk to someone you trust, and everything will be okay.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And it took a lot for me to actually realize that too now that I'm older, because family members, they don't want to talk about the real, or fake like they care, or they want a little fake sympathy, like, and I'm an empath. I don't know about you, but I feel things more than usual.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, so another reason why I went to therapy too, because I'm like, I'm not going crazy. Like, no.
Yeah, and sometimes when we see suffering in the world, it's, good to have compassion and empathy. And we kind of take that pain on as our own because, I always think, try to put yourself in someone else's shoes and try to understand where they're coming from, even though you can't understand completely. But, I think it's a step forward to, people being able to understand each other.
Yeah, amen to that. Because, after COVID, everybody's like, oh, don't touch me, don't talk to me. Like, hold on. People still need people. We still,
Absolutely.
like, we still have to be a community. So that was another healing process too for people. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But this is great, Julie. We kept it short and juicy, and I just love watching you online and how you're growing into your business. So where can people find you?
Thank you. My Instagram handle is The Overcomer, capital Z with Overcomer at the end. You can go there to learn how to rejuvenate your well being so that you can be in the best place to keep doing what you do. Take care of your family, and taking care of yourself is part of taking care of your family.
Awesome. Awesome. And do you have like a website you want to share, or anything about your products you want to put out there?
Yeah, my website is zurvita.com/life of health. And there's a variety of things on there, but it's geared toward, helping you relieve your stress in a natural, healthy way.
All right. Well, I hope you guys got some nuggets from this, and we'll see you in the next video.